She's the author of Chi to Be, Achieving Your Ultimate Be-All, and creator of the Chi to Be Mastery Program. She's the co-author of the global bestseller, Attracting Perfect Customers, The Power of Strategic Synchronicity, which has been translated into multiple languages since its publication in 2001. Having reached a point of complete physical and emotional mental depletion in 2005, she declared, "I want to learn how to heal my heart and then help others to heal their hearts." So those words launched a 6-year journey of self-discovery. Having brought herself back from life-threatening illness, she understands all too well the toll that dealing with financial and emotional stress takes in depleting one's strength and diminishing one's sense of personal power. Her message, "Be energized, be powerful, and keep your eyes on your be-all," has become the rally call for the worldwide Chi to Be movement that is uplifting the globe with commitment, harmony, and inspiration. One person at a time. So please give a huge round of applause for our next speaker, Stacey.
So we're going to be very interactive for the next 45 minutes, because what you all have to say is even more important than anything I could possibly offer to you. And so we're going to keep all the energy on this part of the room. And I'm going to ask you to just take a moment to consider if today you already said to yourself, "I should have fill in the blank." Has there been today anything where you said, "I should," right here? Yes? Do you feel open enough in sharing what it is you should have?
I should be working.
You should be working. Okay, I'm going to tell you, here's a stress ball. Relax. This morning, I have a vendor table with a few of my team members who are part of Young Living in the vendor expo, and yesterday had everything all set up. The checklist was all taken care of. We got here, everything was smooth, had a lot of fun. Thought it was all handled again today. I had forgotten that I brought my computer in last night to respond to people I met yesterday. And I had a little thought this morning that said, be sure to put your computer in your car first, right? That little voice. And I said, okay, and then I didn't do it. And I got here. And I'm unloading everything, and guess what was not in the car? I would have gotten stressed out, okay? What else might have happened to me today?
Well, you're already putting yourself in negative mode.
I was putting myself in negative mode, which would have possibly produced what?
Further negativity.
Further negativity.
Bad presentation.
A bad presentation, which is so good. It's good so far, right?
Yeah.
Yes, of course it is. And any number of things could have happened. As I was pulling out, somebody was pulling in instead of stopping at the stop sign. If I was stressed and in my head, I might have kept on going and we might have had a collision. I could have been even later, right? Much bigger issue than just leaving the computer behind. So this is the topic of the conversation today, is all the shoulds that we consciously and unconsciously put on ourselves, because no one else shoulds on us, no matter what we might think. We're the only one who decides, I should do this or I should do that. So I'm going to invite you to put your feet flat on the floor. Uncross your arms and your legs. Take a few deep breaths. We did, most of us, just have something to eat. You might be feeling a little sleepy, so be careful if you should decide to shut your eyes. Take in that oxygen, deep, full breaths. In through the nose, smell the moment. And then breathe out through your mouth 3 times. And allow your muscles to relax. Let them just fall away from your bones. In fact, there's really nothing to do except let go. this is what, when people say relax, don't we get tighter? So what I'm saying to you is just let those muscles release and you'll begin to feel your bones settling on their own. Now bring your emotions to neutral. In other words, don't attempt to not have emotion. If you want to be angry, it's here. If you want to be happy, let it be here. If you want to be sad, let it be here. Just put all those emotions on a dial and bring the dial to 0 for right now. Put them on neutral. And in your mind, allow all your thoughts to be here. We're not meditating. Well, I'm not meditating. If you want to meditate, I'm not going to shit on you. And I'm inviting you to actually go into a state of being alert and relaxed in order to be able to receive information from yourself. And so in the mind, we're going to let all the thoughts be there. We're just going to let them quietly fly around as if they were actually butterflies. So if there were butterflies filling this room, we might just look at them and notice. We wouldn't have to do anything about them, right? We wouldn't have to worry about them biting us. And we wouldn't have to worry about capturing them. And most of us probably wouldn't go, ooh. We just go, oh, how pretty. Right? Yes or yes?
Yes.
All right, so let the thoughts in your mind fly like butterflies. So physical body is relaxed. Emotions are on neutral. The mind is quiet. And now check in with your spirit. And notice that your spirit knows that in this moment right now, all is well. You can just be calm. All is well. And just go ahead and become aware of the sounds in the room. We don't have to engage with them. It's perfectly all right to be aware of the sounds in the room. And the temperature that's on your skin. And how your feet are connected to the floor. And if you're choosing to wear shoes, notice how your feet feel inside your shoes. This is the practice of becoming alert and now, being here now. Notice where your clothes are touching your body, where your hair connects with your scalp. Any aromas that you smell in the room, allow them to be, and just notice so that you know you're here and now. And then allow yourself to come into a state of waiting. You may already be there, and you may be there with these thoughts in your mind of when's she finally going to get to the point. I'm going to invite you to be relaxed and alert, and just waiting, letting life come to you, whatever's going to come. Without pushing it, without pulling it, without judging it, just allow it to be. This is the practice of raw, relaxed, alert, and waiting. And I'm sharing this with you because this is how I wake up every morning. This is the practice I go through because before I used to do this, life had me at the end of its tail. Does everybody know what I mean by that? Okay. And there was a lot of shoulding in my life as a result. Because I was being whipped around so quick. I see people nodding their heads that you know this. Well, now I don't get out of bed, I don't open my eyes. My husband and my doggy don't know I'm even awake until I have done this. And then I wake up and I do my best to live my day in a state of raw. Sometimes I'm in it, sometimes I'm out of it. When I'm out of it, I catch myself, I go back into it, and I don't say I should be in raw. I just notice I'm not, and then I get to choose. And the reason raw is so important, I'm going to let you tell me, and I've got 2 more stress balls left. So on this side of the room, who would like to tell me why you think being in raw now is important for you? Has anybody felt a shift right here?
Well, I believe that being in raw.
Do we have a microphone? Do we have a handheld microphone here? Because I don't think everybody will be able to hear. Okay, that'd be great. So why is being in Raw important for you?
Well, I'm a fellow course practitioner. If you know what that is, that's all about being in Raw. Because when you're aware, you're teachable. You can learn things. If you're not in the raw state, you can't learn anything because the wheels are just spinning too fast. And when you're in the raw state, your nervous system and your brain can be retrained so that you can improve your life.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's one great reason. Over here, yes. Why is being raw important for you?
To release stress so your body can just relax and naturally restore itself.
Okay, and why is that important? That is what we did. Why is that important?
So you can be healthy.
So you can be healthy? Exactly.
I'm present. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you to both of you. We know that stress is the leading cause of disease. There's enough stresses in life. We don't have to add more on, do we? I'm just curious, does anybody really enjoy being stressed? And I'm asking this is not a facetious question. Because again, I'm not going to shit on you because I don't want you to shit on you. So I'm not saying it's better to not be stressed or to be stressed if you choose to be stressed. But if there's anyone who loves to be stressed, would you raise your hand? Okay. I used to love to be stressed. I used to love to play a game called Beat the Clock. And recovering Beat the Clock player? We're still working on it. Okay. I like the phrases, I like to think of goals as organic. So I'm either in the seeding stage where I'm just putting the seeds into the ground, or I'm in the sprouting stage where I can start to see that I'm getting some progress on it, or I'm in the blooming stage where I get to harvest it all, or it's in the resting stage where I've decided, okay, that's over, that's done, and maybe I'll come back to it or maybe I won't. So if you're still playing Beat the Clock, are you seeding, sprouting, or blooming, beating the clock? What would you say?
When you said, do you like to be stressed, I thought about when I'm under stress, I challenge myself, and I can see negative stress and positive stress.
Yes, exactly.
I challenge myself and get things done, and I'm proud of myself afterwards for pushing myself really hard. And did I have to make myself so crazy about it?
See, now that's when the cray-cray comes in, that's probably not good stress.
Yeah.
Right. It's the pushing. We all know when we're pushing against something and when we're in the flow. Would you say that's true? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're here to do is to, for those who choose to, is we're going to start identifying how we can choose what we do. That's what this whole presentation for 45 minutes, we're going to practice choosing. Because there is no more I have to. And there is no more I want to. There's only choice. I choose to. Choosing puts us back in our power. When we're back in our power, our energy is at a high vibration. How many of you know about vibrational energy of the body? Just show of hands. Okay, and how many don't? Because I want to make sure that I'm a few of you. Okay, they refer to a study done by Teneo Technology. That company has learned to measure the megahertz of anything you would want to know. A healthy body measures between 64 and 68 megahertz of energy. That's how much energy it's putting out when it's healthy. The brain is 68, and the rest of the body is 64, right? Because we're denser down here than we are up here. We're a little lighter up here. But between 64 and 68 megahertz, if that's where we're vibrating, we're doing very, very well. Flu and cold start to set in right around 52, 54 megahertz. That's why some people will be exposed to the very same virus or bug that other people are. Some will get it, some won't. What's the difference? Maybe the other person washed their hands better, but most likely it's because their immune system was strong, because their megahertz were strong. Yes, people are nodding. Does anybody want to guess at what level of megahertz cancer starts to show itself? 40 is very good. 40 megahertz. Okay, so I'm going to give you some tools during this process, but what I'd love for you to do is turn to the person behind you. So I know you're sitting next to people you know. I want you to turn to somebody behind you, and I'd like for about 3 minutes back and forth, tell the person behind you, who you may never see again, what stresses you out. When do you notice you're saying, what are the shoulds that you have in your life? Great, Sherry. I love this. And of course, you know, you didn't have to do that, right? Did anybody do that? Did you felt like you should do that? Just show of hands. David, yes, you thought you should, okay.
You're the instructor.
Because I'm the instructor.
And you wouldn't be here to help us if we just, not at least attempt that with your instructor.
So one, I completely acknowledge you, and everybody give her a round of applause. That is such an honor. No, we're not done yet. Not done yet. I'm going to support you because you wanted to do this in order to get support. Yes? So I'm here to offer support. That was completely authentic, and for everyone who didn't raise their hand on that, she just spoke for you. Now, let's shift it. So I'm the instructor, so what? Why did you choose to do it?
Anytime you step outside of the norm, step outside of the comfort zone, step outside of what's the easier thing to do, it's a learning opportunity.
Did you have a learning opportunity?
Yeah.
What did you look? Would you share this? What did you learn?
Okay. To just take a minute to hear someone else's point of view, what stresses them out, and just in hearing Pam, just in hearing Pam speak about it, it reminded me of an event that I had as well as hers, where hers was a situation that she doesn't really have control over, employees and such that don't follow through, and that's what stresses her out. And it brought up an incident where I had a similar situation, so it makes you realize you're not alone in all of this, and that there are ways to overcome it by learning from others.
Beautiful. I'm going to say thank you now. Thanks for standing up now. In that, I'm going to make sure we come back and give everybody a tool to deal with that. Because we're actually in control all the time, except when we choose not to be in control. Does this make sense? Okay, good. All right, now I'd love to hear, did someone else hear something their partner shared with them that also sparked an idea for them, or an inspiration right here? Would you stand up so everybody could see you? We're going to bring the mic over to you. And you don't have to?
No, we have like the same stress ideas, like what was stressing us out, and it was work related, and sometimes marriage related, and just the daily grind.
Okay, so give me a marriage should. Okay, what was a marriage should?
A marriage should?
Yeah, because that was the question is, what are the shoulds that come up for you in your marriage? What are some things you think you should be doing for your marriage or in your marriage?
God, that's a lot of pressure.
It is. And you can choose to sit down. Okay, she says it's okay, and you can still choose to sit down.
Shoulds, I feel like we should be doing more for each other, more trips and relaxing more.
Okay.
That's what we should be doing.
Okay, now, let's take the should out of it. Okay? Let's take the should
gotta
out.
go, let's go.
Okay. All right, what are you going to choose to do? If you notice that you would like to, because really, the should in that case could be, I'd really like to. I'd like to spend more time with her. Or it could be something else. But whatever it is, choosing now, what are you going to choose to do from here?
Well, after today, I've noticed some things we did start to do.
Good.
Actually, coming into this, that actually we're starting to do.
Yes?
And it's taking more call to action about things that we're actually doing
Yes.
on this journey over
Yes.
the past 5 or 6 months where we haven't murdered anything, eaten anything,
That's one. I said, what about taking the trips?
But
What do you choose to do about the
we
trip?
did the same thing. We just booked a trip to Okinawa for,
Beautiful.
we paid for it. We said, we're going, screw it, we're done. We
Okay,
paid for it.
what's the date? I'm coming
October
with.
8th.
I'll be in New Jersey. Can we change the date?
It's the world's largest tug of war in the world. It's only happens once a year.
All right, I'll look forward to hearing about it when you come back. I choose to hear about it when you come
Please.
back. Okay. Thank you. All right, who else? I appreciate that. Thank you very much. See me afterwards. I got something for you. All right. Yes, right here, Genevieve. What did you hear? And the mic is coming to you.
Thank you. I heard Cindy share that some of the things about her children, so that's sparked in me the reminder of all the times where I made mistakes in my eyes with what I was doing with my kids and how much I beat myself up for it. And all I should have done or should not have done. So there's a really long list there if I want to go there.
Okay, so my invitation, and you can do it or not do it, it's all your choice, would be perhaps to write down all those shoulds and then look at what you chose to do. So if there was something that you think you should have done, it really just means you chose to do something else. And there was a reason why you chose to do it. Does this make sense?
It makes sense. I'm not sure I know the reasons, but
Well, that's where you'll get the inspiration, is you write each one down and you say, okay, I chose to do something else in that moment. What is it that I chose to do? And then maybe you won't remember the actual incident, but you may in that situation say, it was likely this is what I chose to do. And we're going to start talking about how to choose a little more powerfully. Okay? So great, thank you, Jackie. Yes, please, and here I am, one more, and then I'm going to start to share with you some tips for choosing powerfully.
On defining what the choice was, generally I found out, because I do a lot of writing, a lot of written work on my part and my fears. So a lot of times the choices that I'm making, if I'm not clear on them, I have to look at the fear behind it. I'm afraid I wasn't going to have time, or I'm afraid of not being taken care of. So I always look at the fear, like, why did I choose that? It's because there's a fear behind it of losing or not gaining
Yes,
something.
and I would say that is absolutely true. And I have a different philosophy than most people about fear. I think I choose to believe, that fear actually leads us to the most loving actions we can take for ourselves. And that's a whole nother presentation that you can invite me back to give. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and talk about how we choose powerfully. And in my experience, and you heard Luke share at the beginning, I had an experience of being very, very ill, almost not in this world ill, with adrenal fatigue that had been developing over many years. And in January 28th, 2005, I could not lift my head up off of my bed. And for many months, that's where I stayed until I started to get a little bit of help, not very much from I was already past that world, and into the alternatives, which I consider to be the traditionals. And I was getting some help, and I could get out of bed for an hour at a time, but then I couldn't. And there's a whole story behind how I did eventually get well. And I can tell you that it all came from choosing one day to get mad at God. Because I really thought that was pretty unfair. I'm a good person, and I was doing a lot of good before that. That kind of selfless good that ran me into the ground and had me not be able to eat breakfast or eat lunch or eat dinner or sleep because I should be devoting my life to service. Does this make sense to all the healers in the room? Yes. And so from that place is where I got mad at God, and I will tell you that I really started to scream and rant and rave one day and said, here's the deal. You either show me how to get better, or take me. Because this isn't fair to my husband to have a non-productive wife, and I'm not doing anybody any good. Of course, now I know I actually was doing myself good sitting there and resting for the first time in years, but at the time I didn't know that. And I will tell you that answers did start to come shortly thereafter. I chose to stop being a victim. I gave myself a big goal. It was, I prefer to get well. Now, if God prefers for me to go, that's God's choice. But I chose to get well, and that's what led to my upset. Most people who allow themselves to believe that other people rule their lives and they're helpless, whether they work at a job, or they're in a marriage that doesn't work for them, or their children are taking advantage, or their dogs, which sometimes I do let my dogs. I choose to let my dogs take a little advantage. It's because we haven't set a big enough goal. Now notice I said goal and not a big enough why. Lots of people talk about the big why. For me, a why is a reason and a justification that has me looking over my shoulders because something happened back there. I'm doing this now. I'm choosing not to do that anymore. I choose to only look ahead at my goals. And then I choose, whenever life presents something to me, I choose whether it's going, if I say yes, will it move me closer to achieving that goal? If saying yes will move me further away, I choose not to do this. Does this make sense? So this is David. David, you're choosing to take this trip. The two of you are, and I'm asking just you right now. What's the big goal for your marriage that has you choosing to take the trip?
Family.
What about family? What's your goal for family?
We want to see the family. Her family's an open house. We want to pull them, get them together.
Okay, and why? Why is it
Because
important to you to see the family?
Because they're on the other side of the world. We
So
never
what?
get to see them. We
So
never
what?
get to see them.
So what? Why is it important to see them?
For feelings.
For feelings. Your goal is to have the feelings of what it would be like to be with the family.
Exactly.
Okay, that's his goal. And choosing to not go would not produce those feelings. Is that true? And I see it on your face, so I won't keep picking on you, I promise. Thank you, though, for choosing to participate with me. All right, now, who was it in the back who was talking about not feeling in control with the boys? Anybody want to? Okay, would you stand? Okay, can you tell us the situation?
I have 140 people who work for me.
Yes?
They don't always follow through, and they don't always meet my expectations, and they don't always do their best to take care of the property. So then I get to be held accountable for that, and I get to explain it, and I get to discipline them.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right here. Does everybody hear the get to? Like it's a wonderful thing, right? I get to be accountable. Not. Okay, may I have permission? Will you choose to let me give you some feedback so that it supports everybody? Because everybody can see ourselves, including me, in your experience. You said you have more than 100 people who work for you. Have you chosen to make sure they know they work for you? Do they all agree that they work for you?
Some of them don't speak, so we
Okay, we don't have to turn the ends, okay? So my tip to you is choose some action soon to ensure they all get they work for you. That number one right there will improve your life. Because a number of them will choose not to work for you anymore. And then you can choose people who will. Does this make sense? And does this make sense to everyone else? Okay, do you see how simple it is? We're making assumptions instead of choosing to make sure that everybody's on the same page as we are. Okay, the second is, you talked about you have a performance review where you get to be accountable. As if you had no say in that. When you took the job, did you choose to be accountable for that?
When I took the job, I had different people I was accountable to. I have new people I'm accountable to who have not given me their standard. So.
And are you choosing to be inside of that organization? Okay, I'm inviting you to take the I get to out of it and look at what you're choosing to do. Because then you can decide what you choose not to do as well. So what is your goal for being at the organization you're at? Why are you there? And looking forward, not the backwards, but why are you there?
My goal is to help them learn some skills so that at some point I become more valuable to another organization.
Okay, so you have a goal to be in another organization. You're choosing already to be somewhere else.
No, I can't stay in one place and experience that kind of growth. I work in an environment that I'm topped out where I can go there. In order for me to be able to go somewhere else,
yes.
I have to grow this organization.
You don't have to do anything. You get to choose to do it. So I'm inviting you to actually use those words. Can you speak to us from the choices you're making?
I choose to empower my team enough that they are strong enough that then I get to move on and build another team.
Beautiful. If you're actually truly choosing that, your actions tomorrow will be very different. Can you feel it inside of your body now? Okay, and how many of you are feeling it for her or with her? Hands? Okay, great. We're going to go back to our partners. Notice something that you have been saying you have to, and share with your partner what you're going to now choose about that situation. And we're going to give each partner 2 minutes. So the first partner will have 2 minutes to talk about it and get feedback, and then we'll switch, and the other partner will have 2 minutes. So go ahead with your partners. Would you like to share why? Would you choose to share why? And do we have a microphone? Here it comes. Yeah, that's all right.
Mukund to the front, please. Mukund to the front.
Run. Megan, what are you feeling more, or how are you feeling more powerful? And if you, everybody would love to see.
I'm feeling more powerful because this morning I was throwing a lot of those shoulds on myself and really beating up on myself about, oh, I did this wrong, or oh, I forgot to ask about this, so then that set us back in time, and just thing after thing after thing, you know, like hammering the nails in the coffin for myself, and just sitting there and being in myself and enjoying being in this moment and listening to people and connecting to people. I was like, why does that matter? Why was I doing that to myself? And, you know, what can I choose to do right now? So it was really cool to hear that. And like you said, when you get intuitions about people and things to help, and you're like, look at that, like just calm down and you get things and you start getting in the flow again. So don't get outside and bang yourself up in that way. It was just, yeah.
Go down the back and pick up the shoes. Yeah. Someone else said you felt more powerful. Who else felt more powerful? She did. Thank you. Yes. Okay, Lily.
Give her the microphone.
Lily, new mom, is feeling more powerful. Hi. Again, someone else in the back. That'll be the last, and then we'll wrap up.
Well, I choose to say no.
You choose to say no.
I put too much on my plate.
Okay.
And, you know, I put a lot of stress on my children, I feel, for that. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So I feel like I have to do, something perfectly, even, doing the dishes.
Okay, so we're staying in the power rather than the backwards. So what is the goal that you have that you will now choose everything against?
Well, I feel like I was talking to her and I just had that aha moment. Like I have to choose to say no even to the dishes.
And what's the goal? In order
Happiness.
to be happy.
Yeah, stress-free.
Yes.
Play with my children.
Okay, there we go. Yay, that's the choice. So it's not about shitting on yourself about you have to say no, because that's a should as well. It's about looking in every moment. If doing this will get me more happiness and more time to play with the kids, I'll do it. If doing it will not, I'm going to choose not to do it. Okay. And last one? Yes? Hi.
Well,
And so what's the goal and how are you feeling more empowered towards it?
the goal is life or death, and I've chosen life, and I feel very powerful over it because I know that the expectancy that I put on myself that I can do it. It's not that I've had to forget about everything that I've done in the past because it hasn't worked. And so I have an X amount of time to reach a goal, and all of the things that I've learned over the weekend have really empowered me.
Fabulous.
Today.
Fabulous. That's great. Because we have an amazing presenter. One of my sheroes is going to take the stage next. That's Judy Moreo. And I'm counting on the fact that you will all choose to stay and hear her amazing words of wisdom. I'm going to wrap it up here. And I'm going to ask you all to put your feet flat on the floor, go back into raw, and we're going to say 3 times, I choose, yes, and we're going to do that in a moment. So what I do want to do is I'm choosing to say that if you like the tips that you heard today, I have 10 more great ones in She to Be Achieving Your Ultimate Be All, my second best-selling book. I will be out the doors in the next few minutes. I have books, I have audios, and I even have a card deck. So if you are one of those people who says, I don't have time to read a book, listen to audios, but I can pick a card, come out and play with me with the cards. And that's, of course, always a choice. So here is how we're going to finish big and pump our power today. I choose to say yes to my goal. And we'll say it 3 times. And if you want to stand up, if you choose to stand up to really get the power from it, come on up with me. Let's stand up. 3 times. I choose to say yes to my goals.
Give a big round of applause, Stacey.